When we think about ancient threats, we usually picture these massive predators, right? Huge teeth, terrifying roars. But before modern medicine or hospitals were even a thought, a totally silent killer was hunting humanity. It didn't roar from the bushes, it didn't make a sound at all. And there was absolutely zero warning. We're talking about a time when entire villages would just disappear overnight. The whole shebang, gone. Entire tribes simply vanished from the earth, and the survivors were left with literally no warning signs to look out for. And there was no mercy, none. This invisible predator didn't care if you were the strongest hunter or the absolute youngest child in the camp. It showed zero mercy to anyone it encountered, just a completely ruthless force of nature. So it really begs the question, how did our ancestors survive diseases that should have wiped out humanity forever? It's an incredible mystery. What we're unpacking here is the story of how ancient humans defeated an invisible enemy they couldn't even see, using none of the tools we rely on today. Just imagine this. You wake up before sunrise, and the camp is strangely quiet. Yesterday, everyone was hanging out, laughing around the fire. But today, someone refuses to wake up. By evening, 3 more collapse. Imagine the absolute terror of finding your strongest warriors with their skin burning from fever, their breathing getting weaker. There are no spear wounds, no animal tracks, just this sudden, terrifying collapse. Now, without any concept of germs, the human mind obviously filled in the terrifying blanks. We're talking evil spirits, angry ancestors, cursed lands. Fear spread way faster than the disease itself. If a hunter so much as coughed, the tribe thought they were under supernatural attack. They were totally unaware that billions of microscopic killers had already breached their camp. The plague had started, and that fear turned lifelong friends into strangers in a matter of days. But then, something really interesting happens. You have one family that leaves the camp early, while another stays behind. Fast forward a few weeks later, the travelers who left actually survived. The others who stayed, gone. So without even knowing why it worked, they stumbled onto a life-saving discovery. Distance saved lives. When sickness popped up, entire groups would literally just abandon the infected camps. They'd travel to fresh land, essentially leaving death behind them. What probably looked like superstition to them was actually humanity's very first form of quarantine. Nature acted as that first doctor. They figured out that some plants eased pain, others reduced fever. Certain herbs were found to soothe infected wounds. Now, we have to be real here, most of these remedies failed, and some even killed the patient. It was a brutal, brutal process, but through painful trial and error, generation after generation, their medical knowledge slowly and systematically grew. Then there's fire. Fire had always protected humans from large predators, right? But now they used it to protect themselves from something way smaller. Ancient people started burning abandoned shelters. They destroyed contaminated bedding, cooked their food thoroughly, and started boiling their water. So a simple tool for warmth suddenly became this massive weapon of microbial destruction. It just goes to show you sometimes instinct is genuinely smarter than science. I mean, they never knew bacteria or viruses even existed, yet these simple instinctual habits quietly destroyed countless deadly microbes long before a microscope was even a concept. Really look at what saved them. It's fascinating. Their greatest weapon wasn't physical strength, it wasn't raw intelligence, and it definitely wasn't just luck. The real weapon, the game changer that tipped the scales, was cooperation and shared knowledge. Here's what that cooperation looked like on the ground. Healthy people gathered food for the sick. Others stayed behind to care for the children. They literally figured out how to watch over the infected from a safer distance. And crucially, knowledge spread between tribes. They shared intel on which plants helped, which camps were dangerous, and which rivers were safe. Humanity survived because they supported the vulnerable. By sticking together, they were literally stronger than the plague, against completely impossible odds. Without ever seeing a single virus or bacteria, our ancestors survived. And because they survived this relentless, faceless predator, we are here today. So I want to leave you with this final thought. If our ancestors could cooperate to defeat an invisible enemy with literally nothing but instinct, fire, and shared knowledge, what modern challenges could we overcome if we simply learned to cooperate just as fiercely today?